Hello, welcome back to PlayStation Access. I'm Elle and I'm here with Dave.
Hello.
Now we've got something very exciting to talk about because yesterday we got a sneak peek at No Man's Sky VR.
Yes.
So yeah, this is coming in the Beyond update, which is, I think they said, by far their biggest update yet.
Yes.
And we are most excited about the VR because you got to try it, I didn't.
I'm sorry.
Dave got to try it. I had to sit and watch.
I know that this is upsetting for you, and I completely understand because basically this was like a kind of childhood dream coming true for me. I mean, you were saying how it would have come true for you too. Yeah. We had the same dream. It was absolutely amazing. I think probably this is the best thing I've ever done in VR. I'm sorry, I've had a lot of good VR experiences, as you'll see if you follow this channel. But I think this one takes the biscuit. It's incredibly immersive. What's amazing is what VR brings to No Man's Sky. All the things that VR always brings to games, like the sense of scale, the sort of tactile sense, the immersion. Like, I think VR does that to every game that it touches, but for some reason it makes the most sense in No Man's Sky. Suddenly, planet to planet sized. Like, the flora and fauna is just so much more spectacular, particularly the flora actually. Like, I was on this just starting planet, like everything was so interesting. Giant, like, kind of mushroom plants and like little flocks of, I don't know what they were, kind of, I shouldn't give them a name, animals, creatures of some kind, like, were instantly fascinating. Like, suddenly, hills and mountains like tower, and I think it makes you more keen to explore. In my opinion, I think No Man's Sky is a lot of things to a lot of people. What I wanted from it was that sense of exploration and going to new places, and it increased that sense tenfold. Just wanting to know what's behind that hill, what's over that next ridge, and that is just literally basically what you get from wearing the headset, from just being able to look around. Then there's everything that's gained by using the move motion controllers to like interact. I think this is like so smart. They haven't just, they've really thought about how the controls should work and how they should like adjust. And it's not just like the normal game, but now it's in VR. Like, they've really worked to make sure that adds something. So using the move motion controllers now, you have hands, which is great.
That's always useful.
It's very useful, and you do a lot with them. So you store your mining laser or weapon, your multi-tool, over your like right shoulder. So if you want it, you just reach up and grab it, which is very cool, and that's great. But on each hand, there's a kind of like an interactive, like hollow kind of projector, and that's where your inventory is. I mean, No Man's Sky, you're going into your inventory a lot, and it's always kind of felt like you're pausing the game, but you're not really pausing it. The number of times I've been killed or attacked, at least, whilst just like trying to, where's that iron gone? And like, boom, you're attacked. This is now like a kind of pop-up display, and it's linked to your hand. It's like fixed to it, so you can like rotate it and move it, and it's sort of semi-opaque, so you can see through it a bit as well. But you're in VR, so it's here, and I can look around and look away from it. It's like suddenly it doesn't like pause the action or make you feel like you're interrupting what you're doing. It's like part of what you're doing. More than that, everything is then done kind of like with your hands. You're like interacting with things in the menu with your hand, like pointing at it, touching it. And once I kind of got to grips with it, I kind of felt like I was in Minority Report or something. It like the amount it makes you feel like you are living a sci-fi life.
Well, it just looks so cool. It's what you always want, isn't it? To like pop up a watch, have this like screen appear in front of you, and like it just looked. Even me just watching what you could see, I was like, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah,
it was like exactly how I want to feel in space. Like.
And what was the amazing part was when it became second nature, and suddenly I was just doing stuff. I wasn't really thinking about it. When you start, you're like, okay, so wait, I need to. If I want to craft, it's that button. If I want to move it, it's that button. And you're kind of thinking a little bit. As soon as that layer had gone, I found myself just being like, oh, I better just move that over here, and like, oh, I need to like, let's scan. And it was just when you like take a step back and think about that, it's so cool. It really feels like you're living in a future where we have this technology and you're interacting with it. It like feels like the natural progression of things, like, but within this game. This is all very, very cool. The best thing that I got to do, because I only had like this kind of half an hour with the start of the game, was get in my ship and fly away, which was amazing. First of all, the ships, as with everything I said, now have scale. And they actually said they scaled the ships up, right, to make them bigger. Because if you just jumped into No Man's Sky, the kind of launch game, those ships made sense on a screen.
Yeah.
But once you were in VR, the scale of them felt wrong and you were in this tiny little ship. So they made them much bigger. And now going up to them, like, when I found my ship, I just like immediately just ran over to it and just looked at it. Because it was just like, I just wanted to do that. Like, and you, like in No Man's Sky, I love the sensation of it being your ship. And I always feel really excited and sad when I found a new like downed craft and I'm like, this is a much better ship. I'm gonna steal it. But I'm gonna have to say goodbye to my ship. And I always felt quite sad about that. And I think that this is gonna be increased by now.
It's gonna be way worse.
Definitely, but also the excitement of getting a new ship where you're like, look at this thing. Like, I just kept thinking about the Millennium Falcon. And I want to be like the Han Solo and I want to find my Millennium Falcon. And even if it looks like a bucket of bolts, I want to just like, I will stand around it and just think, this is mine.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. You get inside and best of all, they let you control the ship with your hands, i.e. like there is a joystick and there is a throttle and that is how you fly. Like there's no, it's completely tactile. It's completely like flying a spaceship should be, I imagine. So, you push the throttle forwards, you take off, you pull back on the stick, you go up into the sky, up into space. And you can let go of those things and then you can't control the ship. So you can just, find your course, set it on it, let go, cross your arms. For some reason, you will just keep going in that direction. If you want to change direction, you've got to grab the stick again. If you want to fire your weapons, you've got to grab the stick and you press the move button, which is really cool because it just feels like it's like Top Gun or something.
Yeah.
It's like, and that is what I wanted. What's amazing is that could have been, the amazing thing about No Man's Sky is the whole spaceship element could be the entire game, especially in VR. It's so good and so
that's what
joyous.
I'm gonna do. Yeah. I feel like I'm just gonna be flying for hours and hours.
Definitely. And now all the ships around you have scale. The space stations have scale. The asteroids have scale. The planets are planet sized. Like they've always been planet sized. You always flew up to them and knew like this is big and I can go anywhere. Amazing. But you can see it now. I think we always say about VR like you have to experience it to understand it. And this is probably the best experience of it. I think you could have to date. If you have ever been sat on the periphery of getting a PSVR, I think this is the game that should push you in finally because it's incredible. What's more, like this is a free update. If you own No Man's Sky, you're getting this for free.
Yeah, and this is 2.0. So we were chatting to Sean Murray, who is the person who originally started making it and then obviously brought in the rest of Hello Games. And he said that this is a huge milestone for them. They're calling this 2.0. It's like a complete, it adds so much to the game. There were kind of so many other elements. We saw like they made Rocket League inside No Man's Sky, which was amazing. So it's like it's bizarre that this huge, incredible VR update that is just turns it into my dream game, like the game that I've wanted to play since I was a kid, is just one small section of a huge free update. It just, when they were telling us, they were just going, on and on through a list of things that are being added. So it's amazing to think that you get this just because you already own the game. It was, and
it's insane.
Watching you play it, I think, there was a moment where you obviously been guided through it, and they said to you as you were flying off a planet, they were like, "Turn around." And you kind of turned and looked behind you, and you could just see this planet like fading into the distance. This huge, vast planet behind you as you sped off into the stars, and I was like, "Oh God, what more could I want from a game?" It looked incredible.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I think my biggest takeaway was just how this isn't just a VR mode. The whole game is in VR. You can, and now like there a lot of with Beyond, they're adding a lot more multiplayer elements. You can play with people who aren't playing in VR. Like there's no barrier there. They're not different games. It's the same persistent kind of universe that you can be in. It doesn't feel like a bolted on. It doesn't feel like a mode. It feels like what No Man's Sky was always meant to be. It feels so perfect for No Man's Sky. And like I say, I like to explore in No Man's Sky. I feel like I'm an explorer, and it just wills you to explore even more. It just makes everything so much more fascinating, and completely has reignited like my excitement about getting back into that universe and seeing more and doing more, and then whilst I've been away, as you said, with this new update, there's so much more coming.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited to see all that, literally see all that, like first person. So yeah, I'm very excited. This is what we're getting at. I've achieved a childhood dream this day, which is nice. Thanks, video games. So yeah, that's No Man's Sky Beyond, which is a free update coming out in August for No Man's Sky. If you own No Man's Sky, you're going to get all of this for free. It's insane. And if you don't own No Man's Sky, this is probably the time to get involved, I think. So let us know in the comments below, what's the first thing you're going to be doing in No Man's Sky VR? I mean, there's so much we haven't talked about, the building and all the online that we haven't touched on at all.
You can milk aliens.
You can milk alien creatures. Milk alien creatures. I mean, if that hasn't sold you, I don't know what will. Let us know what you're going to be up to. Please do like this video if you liked it, and I'm sure you must have liked it because it was great. And don't forget to subscribe, but also hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything else from the world of PlayStation.
For the players.